Today, we're talking about SMS marketing. I've got a list of questions I'm going to ask Elena, and she's going to go through and answer each one. But first off, Elena, welcome and how are you?
Hi, Chase. Thank you for having me. I'm feeling great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Well, let's dive in. Real quickly, I've got a list of questions I want to ask you, but do you mind briefly sharing a little bit about your company?
Yeah. So I'm demand generation lead at SMS Bomb. When we have to talk about SMS marketing, I think SMS Bump is one of the greatest companies to be working with or at. Simply because we are working with a lot of merchants on establishing those long-lasting relationships by using SMS marketing as a channel for communication. So we help merchants, recover abandoned carts, launch one-off campaigns, or even just send transactional messages like, the status of their shipment or tracking information, which is pretty handy when it comes directly to your phone. Like you can quickly track it and make sure that the customers' orders are well underway. And yeah, we really believe in creating this truly omni-channel strategy. So like we are pairing really well with a lot of different reviews, loyalty solutions, also with email marketing, with other communication channels such as Facebook Messenger and like mobile apps, to make sure that actually as a merchant you can combine all the different data points and and use the power of SMS to actually communicate with the customers on channel that's going to be seen, but also that's going to be effective when you try and push campaigns or sell goods.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Well, let's dive right in. So SMS marketing, right? It's not a new channel. It's maybe a newer channel, but it's been around for enough time. On a high level, though, what would you say the channel's primary goals? I think most people are familiar with it, but what would you say it's most effective for right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that because of the immediacy of the channel, like I'm sure that a lot of people are already familiar with the statistic that over 90% of the messages are usually read within the first 3 minutes. And because of that, and because of the fact that SMS is still not an oversaturated channel, it's really responsive, meaning that if you want to drive campaigns with immediate reaction, or if you want to drive movement in the customer, then SMS is a great tool. And for me, one of the greatest examples of the power of SMS is using it for abandoned carts, because you just have those few minutes right after they leave your store where you're still top of mind, they're still browsing, and they're still in that shopping mindset, that you can get them exactly in those first 3 or 10 minutes and to get them to go back to your store and obviously convert.
Awesome. Okay. And in your opinion, I think you've been doing this for a couple of years now, how have things changed? What was the landscape like, recently versus how it was before? How are brands using the technology or the development different? What's really been the biggest change over the past couple of years in your mind?
Yeah. So I can say that definitely the perception about SMS marketing changed over the years. Like if you think 2 3 years ago, there are just a very few companies that were using SMS as a marketing channel. Like I think SMS throughout the years has always been a channel for communication, for transactional messages, for communication. Think of delivery services, just mostly delivery services, I would say, or information from a mobile provider, were really typical examples. But definitely roughly 3 years ago, we started seeing this slow adoption of SMS. And now during the past 2 years with COVID and with e-commerce exploding, I think merchants started to realize that just using the several traditional channels that they usually have in their stack, like as paid, email, and also search, they are still effective. But if you wanted to go above the competition and to really be successful, you needed to really explore and branch out your communication channels. And I think this is where SMS started to really grow, along with the whole e-commerce wave that hit us in the past 2 years. And I'm really glad to see that we are seeing also from the consumer perspective, like before it was okay to really go and do really basic marketing. Hey, you have an abandoned cart, recover it. Hey, we have 50% sale, buy this. And it was working. It's still working, but I think the consumer is getting, more sophisticated. They require much more personalized communication. They just don't want the generic message. They want you to be, to go a step further, to talk about the products, to talk about their interests and send them offers that are really relevant to them. And I think it's we are currently really in this blooming age of SMS where things are much more advanced, personalized, and we see much more sophisticated strategies out there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. So let's talk about, how do people actually get folks on their SMS list? So how can people leverage other channels to actually speed up the growth of their channel? And what would be a good strategy to do that?
Yeah. So I would say that the best way to leverage SMS and to grow your SMS lists is by just being where the customers are. For example, at SMS Bump, we are using a lot of different so-called subscription growth tools, which allow you to capture the customer everywhere, for on mobile devices, with quick tap to subscribe pop-ups, or using social media where you can just you used to swipe a link, now you click a link, so you can really with just one click subscribe to someone's platform. And I think a way to connect with the audience and collect your subscribers that's getting even more important nowadays is leveraging your offline presence. I think now when things are starting to open up more, we are seeing a lot of merchants creatively using their offline stores or even the tube, with advertisements of hey, text this number, let's chat, or using QR codes inside the stores. And one really cool thing is utilizing the checkout service at the stores. For example, if you're on Shopify and using Shopify POS, you can actually, click and subscribe quickly while you're in the store and maybe get a bonus or maybe not. Yeah, I think importance is just to be where the customers are.
Awesome. And then the big elephant in the room, right, is Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming up. How do you think brands can maximize their SMS efforts before, during, and after BFCM to make sure that it's a massive success?
Yeah. So I think we're coming closer to the place where we are talking even more about the during, because you're seeing every year, Black Friday starts even earlier. So if I briefly can give 2 tips, one of them to the people that are really new to SMS marketing is to start right away. And why I'm saying this is just because we talked about subscriber growth before that. Think about it. Around Black Friday, Christmas, it's the time when you have the most traffic coming to your store. So launching a program around that time, make sure that you convert all that traffic into subscribers, into engaged people that want to communicate with you. They want to continue the conversation with you. So it's even if you're starting, on the 23rd with 0 subscribers, that you're on the way to create really successful strategy and maximize on those really strong months in the following year. And for the people that already have SMS marketing, I would advise to them to just be personal and honest in their communication. So it's not just about the transaction, send messages to wish them happy holidays, send messages in a way that you talk with friends. You know how conversational SMS marketing can be. So leveraging that, the strength of that channel can really help you build fan base with your SMS marketing strategy.
Okay, awesome. That's great. And can we focus a little bit more on like the post, so like the after BFCM for a bit? Like, how do you think about nurturing these types of folks that, participated in such a sales-driven event, right? So maybe they first onboarded for a sale, or maybe they've been on the list and they transacted. How do you basically, transition these people and kind of think about strategies and methods to engage these people once they've done a lot of discounts and kind of heavy offers?
Yeah. Great question. I would say the success of every communication channel, not only SMS, like also email and the others, is about finding what the current problems of the customers are. So thinking from a customer journey, right after a BFCM, like they did all those purchases. So the two biggest problems that usually appear right after BFCM is VMS, where are my stuff, and also returns, like because you buy in bulk, you get to return the things. So tailoring your strategy to those those two needs can really help you, establish this long-term relationship with them. So what we always advise our customers is to make sure that they launch a shipment status update flow where they say, hey, your shipment is on the way, here's your tracking number, so the customers are really ensure that everything is going great with their purchases. And the other one is to make sure that once their goods arrive, that you send up a follow-up message asking them, hey, how was your order, did you like it, were there any problems, and open up this channel as a two-way communication where customers feel empowered to give their feedback and to kind of talk with you. And I would say that if you want to be successful, especially post holidays, it's really about getting those touch points that matter most for the customers and double down on them and just opening a direct communication channel for them.
Awesome. And then one or two more questions I have is, what are some things that you think brands should avoid when using SMS marketing?
Definitely over spamming. I think this is also the biggest fear of a lot of merchants when starting with SMS. They say, I don't want to spam people. And the reality is SMS is not spammy if you do it right. So don't send too many messages. I think that's the worst thing that you can do. That's the the biggest pitfall that you can fall into. But
Awesome.
I will also want to ask you, because you're an expert in email marketing, how are the things on that side? What are the to-dos and don't-dos, especially now around holidays with email as well? Are there some secrets that you can share?
Oh man, I think I've been talking about all this stuff for a long time. People are probably going to be sick of it. But no, I think in terms of Black Friday, Cyber Monday in particular, depending on when this video goes live, we might be a little bit close, but a lot of the work is done on the prep side, right? Really making sure that we're warming up kind of the domain and warming up our list and priming our list and really making sure that people are really excited. Really just focusing on getting people to engage, getting them to reply, getting them to click, getting them to open, getting them to move us into the primary folder, right? So that's a lot more of the stuff on the pre side. During the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? Our campaigns on the email side do get a bit more aggressive, right? Most folks send a couple times a week throughout the course of the year, but during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, that week and a half long period, people could be sending a daily, if not every other day, email. So increasing frequency, making sure that they update kind of their automations and updating their pop-ups to reflect the current and present deals. Making sure that just things don't slip through the cracks. And then on the other side of it, right, kind of to what you mentioned, was we want to make sure that we are nurturing and engaging these people, serving them with content, letting them know about the team, and just seeing how we could be helpful, and then collecting reviews and feedback. Those are kind of some of my fast fire kind of quick tips.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And I think the great thing about the communication channels is a lot of people are a lot of times ask is it email or SMS? And I always say it's the two, because
yes,
they simply serve completely different purpose. With email, for me, it's the way to shine your personality, like the brand personality, to show who you are and send the big those big messages that are gonna create fans of your brand. Whereas with SMS, it's really about the immediacy, it's like the direct, short and snappy communication.
Yeah, totally agree. And then the last question I have for you, what in terms of your mind, like, can we expect from SMS marketing in like the next year or so? Like, where is it heading, and how do you see it potentially changing?
Yeah. How I see SMS evolving is definitely becoming much more conversational. I think two-way conversation is going to be definitely the keyword, or like, the buzzword we are going to hear all around. And one thing I really enjoy of like happening, like, I know it's not that ideal maybe for email, especially with now the whole open rates thing, but merchants and the industry realizing that there is a really good balance between privacy and sales data, and like in merchants investing more in owned channel and like in obtaining more first party data, like asking questions, launching quizzes and all those things. And I think that's definitely also something that we're going to see more and more coming into SMS marketing as well, like the so-called conversational flows where you can ask questions, they can reply, you collect that data, you use it throughout the rest of your tech stack. Or also I think like the conversational commerce in its pure form, like the option to buy directly with a message. So I think those are the two big things that I'm really envisioning being the top priority in innovation for 2022.
Awesome. Yeah, this was great. Super helpful. Where can people find SMS Bump online, website, social handles, and then do you have any personal handles that people can connect with you on?
Yeah. So everyone can find SMS Bomb at smsbump.com. If you want to reach out to me, please use Elena at smsbump.com. And one small treat that I would like to offer all the listeners today. So if you want to start with SMS marketing, as I said, start today, start on the 23rd of November. But we want to give you a little something. We want to offer all of the listeners out there 3 months free of our growth plan, meaning that they can use all of the great tools that they need to get started and be successful with SMS marketing.
Sweet. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you guys. Well, thank you so much for your time and your insight. This was great.
Yeah, thank you as well. It was really great chatting with you.
Yeah, likewise. Bye.
Bye.